Hey, it's a good day to make a bad decision, which is, I think, what I'm doing. Let me explain what's going on. I am headed up to where I used to live to retrieve my 1988 Ford Ranger. I bought it brand new in December of 87. I was in the Air Force. I was 18 years old, and my dad said I needed something reliable to drive because he knew I was going to drive junk all my life. That is the first brand new vehicle I ever bought, and I've only ever bought 2 brand new vehicles. So he was right. I was going to drive junk the rest of my life. But it has been a part of my life since then. I've had it longer than I've been married. I dated my wife in it. We went, when we moved to Maryland, it went with us, and it came back with us, and I drove it for years after that. And it finally got to a point where the kids were big enough that they didn't fit in it very well. So I parked it and got a different vehicle. And there's a farmer out there in that field helping the mom that just gave birth to the baby calf. That was kind of interesting. Back to the Ranger. I drove it until my kids got big enough and it was kind of getting squishy and squished inside and not very comfortable. So, and at that point I had a 72 Bronco, I was in a 4-wheeling, so it just kind of got pushed to the back burner, and then it got pushed even further back, and then things happened and I moved and got a different job and wasn't really in the cards for it to come with us. So I put it out on my uncle's farm. He's gracious enough to find a spot for it and some stand of trees out there, and I was up there a couple weeks ago and looked at it, and it's got trees growing up around it. It's been there for at least 7 years, and 4 flat tires, and it's in pretty rough shape. So I decided I've always told my family I'm going to get it running, and they're always telling me you should take it to the scrap yard, you should junk it. So at this point, the only one that's been telling me that all these years is my wife, that knows about it, is my wife, and she's graciously allowed me to bring it home today because I think she knows she couldn't talk me out of it. But I'll bring it home and I'll see what I can do with it, and it may end up being that it goes to the scrapyard after this, but it's been with me for so long that that's going to be a really hard decision, and I'm going to try my best to revive it and make it my truck again, drivable. I really hope that that's the outcome for it. I was going to do all this on my GoPro and forgot it, so I'm doing it on cell phone right now. I'll do another video once we get up there in the weeds and the trees and saplings to take a look at it. I'm going to try to document the trip today as well as the repairs on it for whatever reason. And so right now I'm driving and I got about 45 minutes left on the trip. My gosh, this thing uses gas. So once we get up there and get in the trees, I will start this video again. Well, here's the Ranger, and luckily Uncle Jim cleaned out around it. It looks like 2 of the tires are off the beads, but the other 2 look like they got some air in them. He said he'd come back and check and do what he could with it. I get this trailer hooked up to it and slide it up on there, and we'll be on our way. Well, I got her home, and it looks a little different in the sunlight. It certainly does not make it look any better. Most of this will probably clean off. The paint is pretty well oxidized and peeling, so whatever paint is on it is probably coming off. The interior is really super gross. There was a squirrel or something living there in the glove box. There's holes in the floor, all the weather stripping around the doors. I don't believe these tires are going to hold air at all. I thought maybe I could get them blown up, but they're pretty dry rotted, and they ripped a little bit because they were rolling off the bead and they were flat. So I'm going to power wash this, and we'll see what it looks like when I get done power washing, and we will go through everything and take a look and see what everything looks like before I spend a dime on it. So I say it's in pretty rough shape. Look at these seats. These seats were in a Bronco 2 that I had, and I took them out and put a different set of seats in. They were regular buckets. These are 60/40s, but these got moss growing up on them.
They're pretty gross. So my God Bless America sticker in the back window is peeling. It's been sitting in the sun long enough. I'm pretty sure that I got water damage on the inside, because if I remember right, the windshield was leaking over on that side. Obviously need a new one of those too. These side panels, door cards are all shot. It's gonna need some love. So we'll see where we're at with it in a couple days. I'm gonna take and, like I said, power wash it, clean it all up. I'll probably spend a better part of tomorrow power washing it. Oh, my Ranger sign came off the side. That or somebody took it. Ranger XLT. Oh, this side has it. I like how these things have rotted out the doors. The door skins. I always like those mirrors. It's nice to be able to see. Put it back together, I might pick a different style mirror. We'll see. Day one, got it home. If I get a chance tonight, I'm gonna power wash it. So yeah, it's pretty sad and ugly looking, but we'll see. We'll get it there. All right, she's looking a little bit better. I got the 8 years of dirt from sitting in the woods off of it. This paint is really rough. I was pretty much doing this before it got parked in the trees, so that's not a big deal. I'm pretty sure I've got a leak up here, and I think it was under here that was leaking. But I had a little bit of water there. I did have the door open, so I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I kind of like the patina. I kind of just want to get it running and see what goes from there. It stinks really bad inside of it, because there's been rodents living in it. All the tires are dry rotted enough that they won't hold air. So that's an issue, because I was hoping they'd hold air and then I could just push it around. Push it where I needed it. So I washed the outside today, and that door, and I don't know why I washed the door, because I'm getting new door cards. This side is the worst. I know it got hit at one point right in here and smashed this in. So this rocker and this floor pan were probably what was replaced. You can see the seat sagging. So that's going to have to be repaired. I have a tank strap hanging. Actually, there is water all along that, so it's leaking pretty good from in there somewhere. So we'll figure all that out. The other thing that I need to, and I will look at this tomorrow, because this is a lot of what is going to determine how far I go with this. I can't turn it by hand. I mean, I tried turning it with the belts when it was up in the woods. I haven't messed with it yet. It's original 2.9. I always liked this motor. In this particular truck, it worked really well. It seemed to have power. Maybe it's just me driving it. I don't know. Not like it had gobs and gobs of power, but I could roast the tires pretty good. So I will be checking this tomorrow, and if I can get it to turn over, I will be happy. Oh, that's not a good sign. Yeah, we're going to have to do some cleaning and messing and everything. I would guess that I will have to go through all of the brakes, and just kind of figured on that anyway. So I'm kind of done with it for today. Kind of glad to have it home. I'll leave the doors open so that it can air out a little bit. It sure stinks in there. The seats I'm probably going to pull out and power wash, see if I can't get the stench off them. That floor is coming all the way out. The carpet will be coming all the way out, and I think I can get a new carpet piece for there once I decide how and if I can fix this. I can't fix it, but somebody can. It got fixed one time. And everything else just kind of needs cleaned up in there and figure out. I'm pretty sure that, if I had to guess, behind this strip is pretty rotten, which is not a good thing. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. The bed was actually, I got up in there, had those seats in it for my Bronco 2. I walked around and it felt pretty solid yet. So I think with that mat being on there, it kept this stuff from destroying it. So I'll clean it all this out tomorrow, and probably I'm gonna spend another day power washing tomorrow. I'm gonna pull these seats, power wash those, pull that stuff out of the back, power wash that. I gotta see if I can get the motor to turn over. If I can get the motor to turn over, I'll be happy. That's good news. But I know it's gonna need a lot of work. It has the original clutch. It has like 230,000 on it, and I never replaced the clutch in it. Not that I shouldn't have. I think it was probably getting pretty wore by the time I stopped driving it. But yep, we will just continue to go through this stuff and fix what needs fixed, and little by little we'll get her back. Well, it's day 2 of the Ranger project. I decided what I'm going to do is, as I find something that needs fixed, I'm going to write it down so that I can have like a running parts list, and then when I get around to it, I can buy that item, or it can give me an idea of what all needs done. So far, I found that the gas tank has 2 giant holes in the bottom, and the straps holding it on are rusted through. The rear shocks are pretty well gone. The tires, obviously. What I'm going to do right now, today, is I'm going to continue cleaning, because this thing is super stinky, and I do believe if I get this carpet out of here, it's going to help a lot. So I'm going to pull the seats. I'm going to clean all of this mess up. I'm going to clean everything up so that when it comes time to put it in the pole barn, I can put it in the pole barn and it's not stinking me out in there. Just probably going to continue cleaning. The other thing that I did check today, I did try to roll the motor over, and it doesn't seem to be rolling over by hand. I haven't put anything on the crank though, so I'm going to try that and hopefully at least get it to turn over so that I know that it's not seized up. Not too concerned with it being seized. I've rebuilt motors before, never something like this, but I have rebuilt motors and replaced motors, so it's not something that's out of my comfort zone to do. Not something I really want to do, but not out of my comfort zone. So yep, just going to continue cleaning today and see how far we get. All right, I spent some time working on this today. Show you what I've discovered. I have 2.5 tires holding air. I can get this one to hold about that much air. I can get more in it, but then it leaks out. It's got a real bad spot in the drywall. This one won't hold air at all. It was off the bead. I used some starting fluid to get it to seat, and I think it might have stressed the side of it. All right, what we have here, this rocker is completely gone in that cab corner. The floor pan completely gone around here, and up in there. This is normal type stuff because this is the driver. This is where my foot would sit. So anytime I got in here when it was wet, obviously that's going to rust out. This truck had been hit right in here, and this had all been repaired. And I'm pretty sure all of the repair is what is gone. Unfortunately, the seat bolt's right here, and the seat belt bolt's right there, so it's pretty well gone. This back panel is not connected anymore, so I think I'm going to pull this out as well. The passenger side floor is not that bad. The back cab corner is almost as bad as this side. It doesn't come as far in, but it's rotted out. So the inside floorboards are in really bad shape. I'm pretty sure that the roof leaks as well. Okay, I got pretty lucky with the rodents that were living in it. They didn't tear up the seats real bad. They just stored stuff in there and lived in there and peed everywhere. So I'm trying to get it to air out because it really smells bad, and I can't get rid of that smell. I need to finish spraying all the dirt out of the box. Yeah, you can see here how the cab corner's gone, and right in here this back corner's shot. That'll all need to be replaced with something somehow. I'm gonna peel all this sound deadening up too. Onto the motor. I was unable to turn the motor over, so I'm working on putting some ATF down the pistons. I do remember that at one point I put fresh plugs in it to see if I could get it to fire. These don't look bad. I have my middle and my front cylinder over here. If you can see, they've got some pretty bad rust on them. So that's kind of telling me that those front two cylinders have water in them, or have had moisture in them enough to freeze it up. Put some ATF down there, try to loosen things up. I'm going to let it sit for a couple days. I wasn't going to do all the cylinders, but then looking at these, there's just a little bit of rust on them, so I don't think it'll hurt. I'll put some ATF down this side, set the plugs back in there. The other thing I noticed on this, like this, I got lucky with the wiring harness too. A lot of times the rodents will chew this all up. It's rough. It has some breaks and splits in it, but I don't think that it's from rodents. It's just age. And I've had some repairs on here. I remember fixing some of this wiring. But overall, I think the wiring harness itself is in pretty good shape. Being the genius that I am, I got in and pushed the brake pedal, and of course locked the front brake up on this side. I don't think I locked the brakes up in the back, because I thought I heard fluid flowing, so I'm pretty sure the lines are completely gone, but I did manage to lock this caliper up. Had to pull that off. So just trying to get this motor freed up. Obviously needs to be freed up in order for me to do anything else with it. In the meantime, as I'm working on that, once I get it freed up, I'll come back and I'll take a look at this wire harness and get those put back the way they should be. And it's just going to be kind of a slow process. One of my buddies said that he works with, he said he could come fiberglass this floor. He works at an epoxy place that makes stuff for boats. So he said he'd fix this floor so that it would never ever do this again. So I think rather than order floor pans and not knowing how to weld, try to weld them in there, I think that might be the better option for us. And get my buddy over here. And you know, I just spent a lot of time cleaning today. I pretty much have everything cleaned out. I managed to get the floor mat out before the trash came today so that I could get that smelly, stinky, acorn infested thing out of here. You can see back here, this all came off of this truck. The leaves, the dirt, you know, the bed was pretty full of crud. And then I've got a big patch of rust falling off underneath it, which is going to be a common thing as I work on this. Looking at, oh, the gas tank has a big hole in it. 2 big holes actually, so we'll definitely need to do something with that. At this point, I want to get it running. So if I can get it running, fix the brakes, get some tires on it, I'm not so much worried about the rest of the body. I just need to make sure that everything's going to work. So, cleaning everything up today and doing some checks and trying to get things set up for the next couple days. I'll have to let this ATF sit for a couple days and see what happens. And then we will move from there.